Test 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you hear me now, Josh? Oh no. Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, well, now I'm getting indication that sound's coming through. All right. Yeah, went and started everything up. Boom, ready to go when the on time. Went to start my music. The music playing and I don't hear it. And that is not a good thing. So, of course, I go and double check all my settings and double check, restart my headset, reboot my sound board. Finally, it starts working. From the screen to the ring to the pen to the king. Yep. All right, guys, heads up. This is probably going to be a shorter stream than usual. And the reason why is that my brother-in-law and his wife are coming in tomorrow. And they have requested, I've mentioned this before, they've requested some bread to take with them. And then we're having pizza, so they want me to make my dough from scratch. Well, that's 24-hour process. And of course, I'm now out of bread. So I got to bake bread for the house here. So I've got some work ahead of me today. Plus, I got to clean house. They're coming in around 4 or 5 tomorrow. And the wife, she forgot to take time off work. I asked her last night, I said, dear, what day are you taking off work? Are you taking Thursday and Friday? Are you taking Thursday or just Friday? And she's like, what do you mean? I said, dear, we've got to clean house. Sweep, mop, dust. You know what your sister-in-law is like. And she's like, oh, I didn't think about that. Yeah, Josh, I can see that being confusing as all get out. I've had that happen more than once. Or even worse, excuse me. Even worse, you open up your own stream while you're streaming so that if there's any links or anything that people post, you can take you can actually do them because, going through StreamYard's links don't work. So then you hear yourself and it's like, ugh. And that in itself is disconcerting because I do not sound in playback like I think I sound while I'm talking. That's everybody. That's the issue with everybody. You don't like your own voice. And when you don't like your own voice and you got the face for radio. So I've got, anyway, I started baking bread about an hour. I started about 2 hours ago. The first 2 loaves are in the oven. And actually, the first loaf is in the oven. I've got, and then I've got 4 more loaves to bake after that. My voice, when I hear it play back, sounds deeper than what I think it sounds just listening to myself talk. And it sounds a heck of a lot more monotone. I was surprised that when I was younger, they allowed me to do voiceovers on commercials. And some people actually requested I do voiceovers on their commercials. That's why I had to join AFTRA when I was 17 years old, because I was doing voiceovers. American Federation of Radio and Television Art Recording Artists. And that's what grew me to hate unions. Well, and speaking of streams, Neil, YouTube decided, I got notification yesterday that YouTube decided a stream I did back in February needed to come down. That, I mean, come on, it's 8 months old, and just now somebody listened to it, got offended, and now it needs to come down. And the thing is I didn't even know it had gotten a strike. But I got notification yesterday that they yanked one of my streams. They didn't just make it invisible to you guys. They deleted the stream. It's not one was on, was it? I honestly, I have to go back and back to Rumble and listen to that stream to see what it was, or pull it up on my, because I download all my streams now. As soon as the stream is done, I download it to a 4 terabyte drive. Or is it 2 terabyte? I think it's a 4 terabyte, but I download it to another drive and then go from there to upload it to Rumble now. So that's what I got. Oh, these first 2 loaves of bread are done. So let me go over here to the oven, open these things up, and see how they look. That's the nice thing about having a small oven. Oh. Oh, yeah. The big loaf looks good. How does the small round go? Because the recipe I have and the pans that I use, it's too much dough for one recipe, for one pan. But, okay, and the small round looks good. But I've got these small 3 or 4 inch spring forms. And I can usually get 4 slices out of that, get round slices, and that's what I use for putting eggs on when I make eggs, for breakfast. So that looks good. I'll get a picture of it here in a little bit. You don't do live streams. Yeah, Neil, I've heard your streams. But I do get into subjects, and I'm not afraid to say things like, how I honestly believe the election was stolen. And it was a concerted effort. It was planned. And I also believe that there's going to be the same attempts made to steal this election the same way. So, and YouTube does not like that to be said by people until it was too late. Like Pennsylvania came back after it was way too late to do anything and said, yeah, the Republicans were right. You guys broke the law when you unconstitutionally did this, and this for the election. But it's too late now. Pennsylvania should have gone to Trump instead of Biden. But it is what it is, and what's happened is what happened. I am not going to be one of those, and I have not been one of those who turn around and say Biden is not my president. Whether I like it or not, Biden is the president. Has been the president. And he is therefore my president. If I was a Democrat, though, especially a Democrat that voted for Biden in the primaries, I would be highly pissed. I would be, morning, Digi. I would be highly pissed off. And I would be so mad that I would probably vote for Trump just because. Kamala has never gotten a vote in a primary. She's never gotten a vote. She, in her name by herself. Josh, Biden has been sitting in the office. He's been performing the duties. He signed the executive orders. He's made the treaties. He's done everything a president does, whether we like it or not. So, but like I said, I would be very angry that Kamala was installed without any kind of primary votes. That they've done what they've done. And I would either be angry enough to sit home or go out and vote for Trump. But that's me. That's me. You know, the Democratic Party showed their base exactly what they think of them. And the Democratic Party has proven to be what they claim the Republicans are. I mean, Kamala's coming right out and saying that Trump is Hitler. She's coming right out and saying that Trump wants to be a dictator. Now, Trump did screw up and said he was going to be dictator on day one. He never should have said that because that gave the left ammunition. Because they break out that quote of his. They break that out and see, even he said that he was going to be a dictator. And they are so great at parsing what people say that, I mean, they've been doing it since, since the 1970s and 80s. They're so fantastic at doing that, and the press getting them away. I mean, Kamala still gets away with Trump, with claiming that Trump said there are both good people on both sides. And having that mean that he meant there were good Nazis out there at the Charlotte fiasco. And nobody in the media steps on her about it. Nobody holds her feet to the fire about making that statement. Josh, and right now we had the opportunity to make that divorce happen. America has the opportunity to make that divorce happen from the Democratic Party and vote Trump in. All right. We've got the opportunity in less than 2 weeks. And that's what we need to do. A Democrat should not be holding the office of the president for at least the next, let's see, 4, 6, 4, 8, let's call it 12 years. There should not be a Democrat in the Oval Office for the next 12 years. Because it's going to take that long to fix all the issues that Obama and Biden have created. Josh, there's going to be the attempt. I honestly, but if enough raw numbers show up to vote for Trump, you can make the raw numbers show up to defeat the attempts at theft. You can have people, and I believe this needs to happen. Polling places need to be under 24-hour surveillance. They need to be under 24-hour surveillance. Cameras running for 24 hours. Inside and outside. All these poll workers, we need to have superior numbers of Republicans in these polling places of watching and observing and taking note of everything that goes on. If Kamala wins, I'm not going to say America is over, that our country is, will be past the point of no return, because we still have the legislative body. And if we can control, especially the House or the Senate, if we control one of the two bodies, I think the Senate's more important, because the Senate would keep is the body that approves all her nominees. So if we can control the Senate for her entire term in office, then we can prevent her from doing too much damage. Yes, she still have executive order authority. But if we've got the Senate there to sit there and take her executive orders to court, just like the Democrats did to Trump, and take every one of them to court, take them all to court. Don't let a single executive order go through without being taken to court. Then, and don't let her judges go through. Vote her judges down. Vote her cabinet members down. Remember, Joe Biden tried his damnedest to keep Clarence Thomas off the bench. And they did keep Bork. So just Bork every judge and every cabinet member that comes through that has any tinge of a communist ideology to them. I don't think like I said, I don't think the country, it will be over, but it'll make it a hell of a lot harder to bring it back to where it needs to be. And yes, I do still fully say that we need to deport every illegal in the country. And the easiest way to do it, the cheapest way to do it, the most cost-effective way to do it. One, children of illegals are not eligible for free education. They're not. They're no longer eligible for anything but the most basic and emergent health care. Good morning, Raman.
Hold on. I was putting a warrant cases away for under the table. Look, Mom.
Okay, Raman, I'm muting you because you got a real bad echo going on. But yeah, you can unmute yourself, Raman, when you get your echo fixed, okay?
Oh, I'm muted. Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, no, I muted you because when your son was talking, there was a
Oh,
horrible
I'm using the
echo.
wrong browser.
Had a lot of feedback going on.
Why can't I hear you? This is freaking weird.
Oh, you can't hear me now? Okay. Yeah, I had to reboot my microphone headset and the software this morning because I couldn't hear nothing, and then my mic didn't work. But I honestly do believe that yes, Raman, but I honestly do believe that if we can keep control of the House, the Senate, particularly the Senate, and we're not afraid to take her executive orders to court, we use the power of the Senate to keep the cabinet and judicial system clean of communist tinge, the socialist tinge.
Hello, I'm just making my coffee.
Can you hear me now, Raman? Then we can go ahead and yes.
Got it, Mom.
Stop, please. Hello.
We can hear you. Come on. Where's my fingers at?
Hello. Hey, I knew it. Yay, I'm here. I'm really here.
Yeah, we can
I
hear
just
you.
wish I could hear you. This is so sad. Hey, stop.
We can hear you just fine, Ramen.
Oh no.
Let me go in private chat here and tell Ramen we can hear her. Okay. Deaf Ramen Comedy
Oh my
Jam.
God. I don't hear anything funny about it, but okay. I just wish I could hear y'all. Is it site muted?
But I don't know, Ramen. But anyway, yeah, those first two loaves of bread turned out great.
And the rest of them?
Oh, you can hear me now, Ramen?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So yeah, I've already baked 2 loaves of bread, and as soon as we're off the stream this morning, I got to bake, or I baked 1 loaf of bread and 1 small round. I've got to bake 3 more loaves of bread yet today. My brother and sister-in-law coming in town tomorrow.
Tomorrow. That's right. You're not going to have a
So,
stream tomorrow. Your family's coming in.
well, no, we're still going to stream in the morning. It'll be the fun stream in the morning. But
Yay.
as soon as the stream's over with, I've got house cleaning too. We're going to start. We started last night with doing some house cleaning, but the wife forgot to take any time off to do any house cleaning before they showed up.
Oh
It's not.
no.
It's not her brother. It's the sister-in-law that's a royal pain.
Oh. Yeah, in-laws are horrible. There should
So,
be laws.
well, now when my sister comes down, she don't care. Okay, but her sister-in-law is a royal pain in the ass. I don't like having her over to the house. I'd rather go out to their campsite and visit them there.
Yeah.
But anyway,
You should get an RV and park it in your yard. Like that, there's your rooms. You have a whole suite.
oh no, they own an RV. They own a big they own a big Class A.
So why are they in the house?
Well, invite them over for dinner. It's like if my son and his family can come over tomorrow night, we're having pizza.
Okay.
If they can't come over, we're having spaghetti.
Nice.
But either way, I've got to make pizza dough. I've got to make pizza dough either today, because it's a 24-hour dough.
Yeah, you got to make it today.
Or I got to make it Sunday, because for pizza on Monday. And then now, if it's going to be the spaghetti, I can make the spaghetti dough tomorrow afternoon. But they're not getting into town until like 4:00.
Yeah.
So they won't be heading out to the house until around 5:36. So, but anyway, let's get to the first story here, the VA. And this is something from the 21st that I meant to talk about, and it got shuffled off on into the background, and I sort of forgot about it. All right, good, Josh. VA backpaid hundreds of fire employees. Report says, as the agency says, it will ensure, in quotations, bad actors can't return. Remember back in when Trump was president, he pushed for and got a law passed to make it easier to fire federal employees.
Yeah.
That's why you made me slip.
Okay.
I'm just reaching
Well,
Hush.
the courts
four times.
and the Democrats, of course, don't like that law.
Of course not.
All right. The Democrats don't like it because it directly affects a large part of their constituency. Because a large number of these federal employees are Democrats.
Right.
Very large portion of them. And if we'll all remember, I keep bringing this up. I really need to find that video so we can keep playing it. I can play it
What
over
video?
and over and over again. There's a video of a federal employee who was instructed to do her part to enforce an executive order Trump had signed.
Okay.
And she said, well, I will do what I need to do, but I will do it in the slowest possible time. I will enforce these changes, but it may take me a while to do it. Hopefully,
It's not something you want to tell your boss. I'll do it when I get around to it. It's not really great.
She not only told her boss, she told all of America because she put it out.
She'd do it when she got around to it.
Exactly. And she was also at the same time campaigning for Biden during work hours. She's working on campaign material for Biden, which is a huge no-no when you're a federal employee.
Right.
So I need to find that video again. But anyway, a right-leaning research group, I love how they put that in there, is claiming the Department of Veterans Affairs under the Biden administration has backpaid more than $130 million to 1,700 people fired under a Trump-era law that allows for easier accountability for federal employees. Through the Freedom of Information Act, the America First Policy Institute will soon release the results of its probe. The investigation also found the VA reinstated more than 100 terminated employees who were fired for indiscretions, ranging from negligence to sleeping on the job.
That would be me sleeping on the job, yo.
Okay.
Sleep a lot.
Dozens of the dismissals accounted for in the documents reviewed by Fox News did not have other specific offenses listed. Now think about, a federal employee goes to work, props her feet up on their desk, and goes to sleep.
You don't need it. You can sleep with your chin in your hand. I mean, if you've got your elbow on the desk, I'm not saying I've done that. I'm just saying I know it can be done.
Oh, yeah. Same here. Same here. I know it can be done, too. Probably for the same reason you know it can be done.
Hey, I'm a good girl.
I've got 2 8-hour shifts from 11 to 7 every week. And I take in 72 ounces of coffee and 48 ounces of energy drinks every night.
Oh my God.
And I consume all of those every night.
That's crazy.
And I still struggle at between 3:30 and 4 o'clock. Well, between 3 and 4, to stay awake. So, following the passage of the 2017 law, the VA reportedly failed to bargain with this public employee union. And this is why I also believe government employees should never be able to unionize. If you get your paycheck through the taxpayer's tit, from sucking at the taxpayer's tit, you should not be allowed to unionize. Plain and simple. I don't care if you're a cop, a nurse, a fireman, or you work for DHS or whatever. You should not be allowed to unionize.
No.
Because you are working for how I just find so much wrong with that concept. The federal employee can be a member of a union and demand higher wages. Demand that the taxes go up on people, on the American citizen, because you want a higher wage or you want more vacation time. Or whatever. Could you imagine what it'd be like if the military was allowed to unionize?
Oh my God.
That would be horrible.
Oh, it'd be interesting.
Yep. Oh, what am I missing here in the chat? Okay. Boy, sleeping with your eyes open, I can't do that. I don't think I can do that.
I used to do that in school.
I found
The
some
junkies wouldn't let me sleep.
But yeah, there's just too much there. But anyway, and was ordered to attend arbitration. Because of this, according to a source familiar, the VA could, let me emphasize that, could have been required to rehire all previously terminated employees, including those fired for grievous misconduct, like patient abuse or harassment. All right. It's not saying whether or not they did, just said they could have done that. The agency ultimately reached a settlement with the union in 2023, and only 106 out of the 1,700 employees were offered financial compensation so far. Had been 106 of the 1,700 employees offered financial compensation so far have been reinstated. All right, so what's that? 10%, just under 10%.
Yes, Mom.
The investigation found that of the more than 4,000 terminated employees, more than 1,700 received back pay or compensation. Now, a few weeks ago, and I don't know if they've gotten it straightened yet, I haven't paid attention. I've had other things going on. The VA was begging for more money because they said they wouldn't be able to send out disability checks to the veterans. That the disabled veterans would not get their monthly disability checks because the VA was running out of money. But they're giving back pay to people who had been fired. At that rate, the back pay for the entire group of former employees would total $300 million. Former Trump VA Secretary Robert Milkey, and Robert Milkey wasn't bad as the VA Secretary. He wasn't bad. He had some big battles to fight in the VA system.
Okay.
And when you're trying to battle a group of people uh, in an organization the size of the VA, who, they all these people got to go, go to the press, and make the claims that Trump's people are hurting veterans, and the media wouldn't go doing any research; they just run with it. So Wilkie really had to go in there with some, and try to make some changes with some kid gloves, though. Trying to make changes and fix things without getting that firestorm of people running to the press crying because they're having to do stuff they don't want to do, like work, like actually be awake on the job and do their job to earn the paycheck. Those fired for mistreating American veterans should not be even allowed near the VA, much less reinstated, said Wilkie, who's now at the AFPI Center for American Security. Instead of litigating these baseless grievances or working with Congress to strengthen the Accountability Act, the Biden administration surrendered to the government employee union. Taxpayers and veterans who received care from poor performers will pay the price. Yes. Yes, they will. In 2017, under the previous administration, the VA failed to bargain with AFGE on the implementation of this law as legally required by the VA's contract. As a result, the agency was repeatedly court ordered to reinstate fired employees. But current VA leadership is adamant that no employee fired for serious offenses like patient abuse has been reinstated. For some reason, I just don't believe that. I just don't. The Trump administration's implementation of the 2017 law was repeatedly struck down by the courts, putting the VA at risk for having to rehire individuals who committed patient abuse, harassment, and criminal activity. Now, I tried looking up under what the reasons were that these judges were striking, basically telling the VA to ignore the law. And I couldn't find anything any reason there that I could find that I personally believe was a legit reason. Now, I didn't look at all 1,700 lawsuits. I don't have that kind of time. But the ones I could find, it was, in my opinion, BS reasons. None of them said the law was unconstitutional. Well, if the law's not unconstitutional, then what? And government contracts, at least most of the ones that I've read, they got little things in there saying that if the laws change, these contracts are subject to the new laws. And I'm going to, I would hope that the contract that the VA has with the unions, and again, I don't like the unions and federal employees being unionized for any reason. Government employees should never be allowed to be unionized. They work at the taxpayer's whim. I don't care if you're the dog catcher or the or the head of the Senate. You work at the taxpayer's whim. I mean, the president, think about it. The president every 4 years. If he wants to keep his job, he asks for his job. And the taxpayers say yes or no. Same with your Congress critters. Every 4 years. They come every two or 6 years. Your Congress critters come to you and ask you to retain them in their jobs. Look what I've done for you. If you're a House member if you're a House member every 2 years, if you're a Senate member every 6 years. Look what I've done for you, or like you said, look what I didn't do for you. I'd like to keep my job. What do you say? And the taxpayers say yes or no. Well, the taxpayers told Congress and told the president that they want this law written so that government employees could be terminated. That you weren't guaranteed a lifetime job once you got hired in the federal government. That you actually had to do your job. And some courts, most of these judges were appointed by Democrats, sat there and say, sorry, but we're going to make you ignore that law. And not because it's unconstitutional, but because we think it's unfair to the government employee. Well, the government employee doesn't have fairness. He works at the whim of the taxpayer. If enough people got their congressman to say, hey, we want you to abolish this cabinet position, and got a president willing to sign that law, that cabinet position, like the education department, be abolished. Yay! That's good news for all of us. Because the Department of Education has done nothing.
Nope.
To improve the education in this country. I have refused. I have so far. I've been lucky. I haven't had to use the VA for anything other than my disability check. I haven't had to use them to get my drugs. I haven't had to use them. I haven't had to. The only thing when I first retired, I went to the VA. I had to go to the VA hospital. It took 7 months to get an appointment at the VA hospital. And I was told that was quick. To go in and be checked out for to have my disability approved. And I was told that was quick. They said usually it takes over a year, if not 2 years. So fine. And that is the last time I've had anything to deal with the VA as far as going in there to see them. Because I don't trust them. I simply do not trust the care that I would receive from the VA. Their doctors don't have to be licensed in your state anymore that you live in. Their nurses don't have to be licensed within your state. Because they're licensed through the federal government. I just don't trust the care. I really and truly don't. The spokesman for the VA continued to hold, the spokesman said the VA will continue to hold employees accountable who mistreat patients or commit other transgressions, and that anyone who's reinstated will be held to the high standard to be dismissed. Weren't they dismissed for not being held, for not meeting that high standard to start with? Raman,
Sir?
your microphone's doing something horrible.
I'm sorry.
Okay. But, I mean, I just wouldn't trust the VA for love nor money. I mean, right now I'm getting amazing care. I really and truly am. My doctor's appointment yesterday. Went in and
How'd it
saw
go?
him.
Okay.
And we're sitting there talking, and he goes, he said, and somehow we got talking about doctors firing patients, which, doctors can do. Doctors can refuse to see you as a patient. Well, here in the state in Florida, up here in the Panhandle at least, a few months ago, a doctor killed a patient by removing the wrong organ in the surgery.
Oh my God.
And that wasn't the first time that he'd done something like that. So now when you walk in to see a doctor, the first thing they have you do is, what is your name and birth date?
Okay.
All right. Then when they call you back, what is your name and birth date? Then, they start, do you have a hole in your heart? Are you allergic to any medicines? Are you allergic to any, like to certain types bandages or tapes, paper tape or.
Let me guess. Their next question: do you have a family history of heart problems, or
Yes.
they're gonna dismiss you for having a pre-existing condition they don't feel
Well,
like treating?
no. The reason why they're doing this, all right, is to ensure they got the right patient being treated for the correct ailment. All right. Well, see, another thing that happened, which I was not aware, but this just happened. A woman sued her doctor because she became diabetic while under his care.
No.
And why did she become diabetic? Because she weighed 270 pounds and refused to lose weight.
Yeah, she had other conditions.
All right. Well, that caused her, the fact that she refused to lose any weight caused her to develop diabetes. She sued the doctor and won.
How could you? Never mind.
Yeah, I
Just
know.
stop eating all that fucking sugar and go for a walk once in a while. Shit.
And what the lawyers were saying was that the doctors did not ensure her care, did not properly ensure her care and her progression.
Oh my God.
So now, my doctor is saying that, was telling me that doctors, when they have obese patients such as myself, all right, that if we do not lose a sufficient amount of weight over time, just show a progression of losing weight, that they're going to fire that patient because they do not want them under their care when and if they develop diabetes or other obesity related disease or ailment. And I looked at my doctor and I said, okay. And I said, please, I don't care what you have to prescribe me. If I'm not losing weight quick enough to, trying to control my diet, I will take it, because he knows I don't want to take any kind of drugs for weight loss.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I told him I would. I said, I'll take the drugs for weight loss if that will keep me being your patient. And he just started laughing. He goes, and that is why I will never fire you as a patient. He said, because you would do something that you have consistently said you don't want to do, which is take drugs to lose weight. He goes, because you said you would do that if that meant you could keep me as a doctor, is why I would never fire you. I said, you could, as long as you could lose 2 pounds that month, and I would say, that's fine. That's great. You've lost 2 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
That's still showing a weight loss. So up here in the Panhandle of Florida, it's going to get dicey here for a while. In the civilian world for your doctors, because one doctor removed the wrong organ, and when one of the nurses told him that he was operating on the wrong side of the body, he kicked her out of the operating room.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that family, the patient did die. That family's going to get a huge payout.
Mm-hmm. And they deserve it.
Not that it, I think the man was in his late 50s or early 60s.
Oh.
So it's not like that's going to replace him to the family. But anyway, so if you're in the state of Florida, especially up in the Panhandle, and you go see a doctor and they start asking you a bunch of questions over and over and over again, 3 or 4 times, that's why.
Oh.
Because now they're and you have to look at it from their aspect, from their point of view. All of their insurances just went up because of that doctor. All their malpractice insurances just went up. And malpractice insurance is expensive.
Yeah.
Kentucky man pronounced dead wakes up during organ donation transplant. Whoa.
Oh, I heard about that. There was actually a Stephen King short story about that. The guy was about to get cut up for an autopsy.
Oh, yeah, I remember that story.
Yeah. It's pretty much the same thing.
Wow. Let me find that story or click that link there. No. Oh, he woke up just before the surgery.
Before they made the cut, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll have to read that article. But yeah, something, didn't they have a doohickey on his brain for brain activity?
I don't know.
When my mother-in-law died, she only died because she was already brain dead, but her body was still operating. Even though she was brain dead, her body was still functioning.
Okay.
And they had to shut down some of the machine. They did have a machine hooked up to her. They shut down that machine, and it still took like 10, 15 minutes before the heart finally stopped working. my poor wife was in there the whole time, and just there's nothing I could do for her.
Yeah.
There was absolutely nothing I could do. Yeah. Well, it was his. From what I saw there, real quick in the article, he was. He wanted to be. I mean, I'm a donor. Well, I was a donor until I found out I can no longer be a donor because I was in Germany and from 82 to 84. Well, 83. I was in Germany for 3 years. So, yeah. All right. Now, this other article here I wanted to bring up. Where is it? Here we go. And y'all, it should be no secret to you guys, to anybody that listens to me, knows how I feel about illegals. And this is another reason why I think that no federal employee should be allowed to be a member of a union. New report reveals DHS official use social media to promote illegal immigration. Wilson
What's the point of
Osero was
having
listed.
laws anymore?
Exactly. Wilson Osero was listed as an associate consul for the USCIS. An official at the Department of Homeland Security has been promoting illegal immigration using platforms like YouTube and TikTok to provide advice to border crossings. He's listed as an associate consul. That means he's a lawyer with the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services Office of the Chief Consul. After Fox reached out, what appeared to be Osero's YouTube and TikTok accounts were made private, and his LinkedIn profile appeared to have been removed. Yeah. The American Accountability Foundation is publishing the report, first obtained by Fox News Digital, which looked at videos and translated Spanish-speaking content. Osero uses his TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram to post video content, mostly conversations with illegals, where he asks individuals to tell those watching how much money they make, how they came to the U.S., and how wonderful it is to illegally enter and settle in the United States. He began posting back in July and posted dozens of videos. The report says one video, he purportedly shows an illegal immigrant who now owns a restaurant. How in the hell does an illegal get a business license to open a restaurant?
How do they get ID? How do they get a driver's license or register to vote? It's all the same shit.
Absolutely ridiculous. Other examples include a video that identified a migrant as earning $1,000 a week selling fruit.
Selling fruit, my ass.
In another video, an illegal immigrant is asked if he has any advice or tips for others who want to cross illegally. The man responds by warning about the dangers, including smugglers in the heat of the desert. In 3 years, my daughters and I already have papers in the U.S. The report says the woman in the video says she crossed illegally, but having 3 daughters helped her get protection from deportation, and she ultimately received a work permit.
Wow.
I love this one. And another video, the description says, in the U.S., you work hard for your money, but it's worth it. Thanks to my work here, I built a house in Honduras, and I'll soon be moving back.
Yeah. You can live like a feudal lord in some of these third world countries with a U.S. salary.
Oh, yeah, I know several people. I mean, I knew these guys personally that moved down to the Canal Zone.
My ex bought his family a 3-story house, and they had 2 maids every day. One just for kitchen work and one to clean the house and do laundry.
Where's this at?
Pakistan.
Oh, okay. Well, the guy I know that moved down to Canal Zone, he's a retired senior master sergeant, E8. And he gets a couple thousand a month on his retirement. Well, at least he was, of course, then he started drawing Social Security. But anyway, he moved down to the Canal Zone. He and his wife bought a nice house. Like you said, they've got the maids come in, cook and clean for them.
Uh-huh.
And they said that, they make side money by renting out horses.
Oh, wow.
To mostly Americans who go down and want to take little trips horseback up into the mountains along the canal zone down there in Panama. So, it's like, what a deal. And they still vote, and, of course, being American citizens, expats, they vote every election. And they are the people that vote for Democrats every year. But anyway, then of course got a video by a woman or a person who was here back during the Reagan administration. Now, during the Reagan administration, y'all have heard me talk about that before. Reagan and Tip O'Neill came to an agreement that Reagan would give amnesty to every illegal in the country that met certain criteria.
Okay.
But the Democrats in Congress, remember at that time, the Democrats still had control of the House for decades. And there was no foreseeable future where it would change until Newt Gingrich came along. But the Democrats had to agree to improve security at the southern border and to deport all the illegals that came in afterwards. No more illegals allowed in the country. Now, Reagan, of course, had to sign the amnesty.
Yeah.
Once they, and trust that the Democrats would do what they agreed to do. Well, of course, as soon as that amnesty was signed, the Democrats reneged on their deal and said, "Oh, sorry, but yeah, we can't allocate this money to put more people on the border and to secure the border. We just can't do it." And I want to say it was like 5 million people got amnesty under Reagan.
Yeah.
So the Democrats have lied since the Reagan administration about wanting to stop illegal immigration. They put up a good front. Well, they used to put up a good front. Not anymore. Well, right now, of course, the Democrat, Kamala, yeah, we need, taking pictures of Trump's wall and how that's, taking credit for how that's stopping some of the illegals coming across the border. And how we need to do something about the illegal, but that's all just electioneering crap. They're not going to do anything about it. They still want to have as many illegals as possible and streamline citizenship so they can get all these illegals to vote for them. We, the Democrats, love our illegals. We love you. Look, we got you made citizens. We rewrote the laws so you could become citizens faster. Another video identified the important role illegals play in the construction while highlighting the money they make in various occupations. One video gives advice to illegal immigrants if they are owed money at work. Now, let's talk about illegals in construction. You take a look at a house built back in the 50s and 60s, even into the 70s, the early part of the 70s.
Okay.
Those houses were extremely well built. And most of them, if they've been properly maintained, are still standing. 12-inch center studs, 2x4s that were really 2x4s, 12x12s that are truly 12x12s, et cetera, et cetera. Look at what the construction of new houses are. There's a guy from Mesa, Arizona, a home inspector, new home inspector on YouTube and TikTok, who videos what he finds on new home construction. Rafters. That the rafters are broken. The boards are physically busted. Or they're not connected. No, not a single nail in one end. And these are on $500,000 to $1 million homes. These aren't on little $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 houses. These are on $500,000 to $1 million house. No insulation in the ceilings. Tile laid down with no adhesive underneath them. When you tap them, you can hear that it's hollow underneath. Mm. Now, granted, part of that problem there is the companies themselves, the job site foremen, who really aren't giving a damn about the construction. But I mean, a lot of the problem too is who they've hired to do the actual work. Back to the article here. Wilson O'Sara personifies the plague of unelected radical leftist bureaucrats turning his country upside down. Even as he collects his taxpayer-funded salary, O'Sara pushes his radical open borders agenda that's endangering the safety, stability, and livelihoods of millions of Americans. It is an utter betrayal of the American people, and he must be fired immediately. DHS, of course, declines to comment on the official's social media activity. They need to have Mayorkas up there right now talking about this. Mayorkas and Rye both. So, okay, now, Raman, here's a question for you.
Yes.
All right. What would you explain? What reason would you explain? I'm going to jump here a little bit to the side. That current polling is showing that 60% of white females
Uh-oh.
are going to vote for Kamala.
I believe it. They're so fucking stupid and they believe anything they're told. I believe it. I totally believe it, yo.
Why?
I mean, we've seen social media. We know who's doing what. Come on. Why is it so hard to believe?
I'm not saying it's hard to believe. I'm just wondering why. What is there?
Because we always vote against our best interests.
I'm reading Neil's post there. If they would have said 60% of college educated women, I could understand that.
Right.
Because they've been indoctrinated by the college professors.
Right.
If they said, in fact, I'd be surprised it was only 60%. I'd expect it to be closer to 80%.
Oh, okay.
College educated men, I believe it to be, I would say, I would believe 70% with no problem. Because face it, most of your government employees at office jobs are women.
Okay.
All right. So most of your government, I mean, you walk into almost any government building, and most of the employees are women. When I went to DMV to get my new tags for my truck, there was not a male there, period.
Oh, wow.
And and they had a wall there showing pictures of all their employees.
Yeah.
There
All
was
women?
all women, not a single male assigned to that office. Of
Oh, boy.
about 20 some odd employees up on the wall. Did not surprise me one bit. When I went to the main DMV, I saw a couple of men walking around, but not a single one of the men of the people actually sitting at any of the workstations were men. I like the way our main DMV is set up. All the workstations are along the walls so that, and you sit in the middle. And when they call your number, it's like, I think it's like 1 to 30 workstations.
Okay.
okay, that surround the three walls. And so you go to workstation 30 while you, okay, that's going, they're just numbered and order, and boom, you can see every workstation from the center of the room. So, I mean, I do like that setup.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're not walking around trying to figure out what's going on, but you can see every workstation, and not a single one of them was occupied by a male.
Gotcha.
You go to the bank. Last time I went to the bank, there was most of the people I saw were female. There were a couple male employees at the bank.
Mm.
Well, credit union. I don't go into a bank anymore. So now Neil said here that in one of his posts that he's been a remodeler in those homes. 300K homes built that he had to go in and do repairs to a year later.
Mm.
So, yeah, Josh, you're right. You contracting companies that hire solid employees that do good work all the time. Yeah, I don't. That's one of the reasons why, like my car mechanic, he's not the cheapest car mechanic around by far. In fact, he's probably in the top 5 when it comes to expenses, being expensive.
Damn it.
But I can count on one hand and have fingers left over that I've had to take a vehicle back to have problems worked on a second time. So, well, I believe the same way with contractors. You don't hire the cheapest contractor because you're going to get the cheapest work, which was a real pain in the butt after Hurricane Michael, trying to find a decent contractor that wasn't booked for a year out. So, all right. Well, hell, I've already gone longer than I wanted to go, or what I thought I would go. I do, like I said, I do got to call today's stream a little bit on the short side because I've got a lot of work ahead of me today and tomorrow. There's no, we're going to do a fun stream tomorrow morning. Don't worry about that. There will still be a fun stream. I'll at least have the first load of bread in the oven by then, or pizza dough maybe, made up and sitting in the refrigerator. All depends on what my son, is he coming over for dinner Friday night or oh no, I need to know today whether or not they're coming over tomorrow. Robin, anything before we head out the door?
I got nothing.
You got nothing. Okay. Well, ladies and gents, thanks for coming by. Robin, thank you very much. I do appreciate you. All right. Tomorrow morning, 9:00 Central Time.
I'll be here.
All right. That's what, 8:00 Eastern.
Uh-huh.
And no, that'd be 10:00 Eastern, 8:00 to the west of us. What's to the west of us? Is that mountain time to the west of us?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Anyway, y'all know what time it is in your local region that we try to get up and going. And hopefully I won't have to sit here and play with my software or whatever was it for 5 minutes trying to get my where I can hear what's going on. But anyway, y'all have a good one. Be with the ones you love and love the ones that you're with, even if they're even if they are your in-laws or outlaws. All righty.
Mm.
Bye.